Imagine living forever. How would that make you feel? Would you welcome the chance to exist beyond the boundaries of human lifespan? Or would you prefer to live life on your own terms and meet your end when it happens? In this day and age, it's becoming more and more possible that we can live longer than any generation before us ever did. But is it possible to live forever? Is death something that science will eventually be able to defeat? Or are there things about our existence that will always keep us from achieving immortality? Let's take a look at what science has to say about the race for immortality. For thousands of years, people have been trying to find the secret to living forever. From the mythical fountain of youth to magical elixirs that are guaranteed to grant eternal life, everyone wants to avoid death no matter how close they are to it. Some people even resort to extreme measures like cryonics, which involves preserving someone's body after they die in the hope that one day they can be revived and live the rest of their lives. However, with all of these bizarre attempts at defeating death throughout history, none come close to some of the actual scientific endeavors happening today. We've come a long way from magic potions. Today we're talking about laser beams. Scientists are now closer than ever to beating death, and it may not even require some far-fetched future technology to do so. Scientists have been researching ways to extend the average human lifespan for decades now. A perfect example of this is through something called caloric restriction. Studies on animals show that restricting their diet to around 30% of what would be considered a normal portion size can increase their maximum lifespan by up to 50%. This means that if the average person were to cut their daily calories by around 700 to 800, they could live anywhere between 10 and 30 years longer. The reason behind this is that eating less puts less strain on the body and allows it to operate more efficiently, meaning that it will age slower and be less likely to suffer from age-related diseases. However, while studies on monkeys have shown positive effects from following a caloric restriction diet, human trials have shown mixed results. While some people experience an increase in energy levels and overall health, others suffer from constant fatigue and an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. So the jury's still out on whether or not this is a viable option for humans. Another thing scientists have been looking into is something called rapamycin, which is a drug originally used to suppress the immune system. It was discovered that restricting the growth hormone in mice led to a significant increase in lifespan, thanks to a protein known as mTOR. When mTOR is inhibited, the cell begins to break down and recycle itself, which leads to an increase in lifespan. Rapamycin inhibits the function of mTOR, so it's being studied to see if its anti-aging effects can also apply to humans. However, probably the most exciting development in anti-aging medicine comes from something known as senolytics. Senolytics are drugs that target senescent cells, which are cells that stop dividing but don't actually die. These cells accumulate as we get older and begin to cause problems for the surrounding tissues, leading to inflammation and disease. Senolytics work by killing off these old cells and replacing them with new ones, leading to improved tissue function and a reduction in age-related diseases. While this is still in the experimental stages, it has shown great promise in extending the lifespan of mice and reducing the symptoms of various age-related diseases. So what does all this mean for the future of humanity? Well, it means that we may be closer to beating death than ever before. Thanks to advances in science and technology, we're learning more about the aging process and developing new ways to combat the diseases associated with old age. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be able to live forever, or at least close to it. But let's say we do develop the technology to live forever. Is that really a good thing? How would society function if everyone lived indefinitely? There are some potential benefits to living in a world where death is no longer a factor. For example, we'd no longer have to worry about the loss of loved ones or the fear of death itself. We'd also have more time to pursue our goals and make a lasting impact on the world. After all, we wouldn't have to worry about leaving a legacy behind, since we'd be sticking around forever. However, there are also some potential drawbacks to consider. For example, overpopulation would become a huge issue since no one would die off naturally. We'd need to find a way to sustainably feed and house an ever-growing population of humans. there would also be a much greater disparity between the rich and the poor, as only those who had access to the technology necessary to extend their lives would be able to do so. This could lead to a world where the wealthy elite live forever, while the rest of us are left to die from old age. Additionally, it could also lead to a decrease in innovation and progress. If no one is ever going to die, then why bother inventing new things or making improvements to the current state of affairs? After all, we'll have infinite time to do everything. So if we were to develop the technology to live forever, there are a lot of things we'd have to consider. It might not be all sunshine and roses, but it would certainly be interesting. While we may never be able to achieve true immortality, there are things we can do today to extend our lifespans and improve our quality of life as we age. Eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly and getting enough sleep are all important factors in maintaining good health as we get older. Additionally, staying mentally active and engaged can help keep our minds sharp and reduce the risk of cognitive decline. There are also certain supplements that have been shown to improve brain function and reduce the risk of dementia. These include things like omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins, and vitamin D. Another thing we can do to stay healthy as we age is to be proactive about our healthcare. This means seeing your doctor regularly for checkups and screenings, getting vaccinated on time, and taking steps to prevent and manage chronic conditions like diabetes and heart disease. By taking proactive steps to manage our health, we can reduce our risk of developing serious problems later in life. It's also important to remember that staying connected to other people is an important factor in maintaining both physical and mental health. Having a strong social network can provide us with emotional support, practical assistance, and a sense of belonging, all of which are essential for our well-being. We can stay connected to friends and family by making time for them, staying in touch regularly, and participating in activities that allow us to meet new people and build relationships. One of the most important things we can do to ensure a healthy and happy old age is to plan ahead. This means thinking about what kind of lifestyle you want to maintain as you age, as well as making arrangements for things like financial security and healthcare. By planning ahead, you can reduce the stress of worrying about these things later in life and focus on enjoying your golden years. While death may be inevitable, that doesn't mean we have to sit back and do nothing. We can take steps today to ensure a healthier, happier, and more fulfilling life as we age. So don't wait. Start taking care of yourself and planning for the future today so you can enjoy your golden years to the fullest. So do you think it's possible to live forever? Let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please leave us a like and subscribe for more videos about science and technology. As always, thanks for watching.